Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Carter Diamond welcoming to yet another Stone Cold Hockey video for the 1991 Pittsburgh Penguins, trying to get the Mario Lemieux and the Penguins a title in video game form other than they did in real life. We're in the Patrick division. We're 15, 13, and 4, which was only 2 games above 500, which is low, especially with New Jersey and Philly creeping up on us, with the Rangers, Washington looking pretty good in the Patrick division. Islanders still look so good. In the Adams division, Boston, Montreal, and Buffalo, and Hartford looking good. Quebec falling flat, but they're 19 points, so the worst with the Islanders. Smite division, Calgary and LA had the 40s. LA, well, Edmonton third, Winnipeg, Vancouver 3-4, 4-5. And the North, Chicago crushing it with St. Louis, Minnesota, Detroit, and Toronto on the backfield. Goal scoring, Brett Hall has 34 goals in 31 games, so he's got the 30 and 30. Our best guy is Mark Recchi, who's tied for 10 for Rick 5, among others. Points wise, Hall in the lead with Gretzky second, Sakic third, Recchi 6. That's pretty good. Behind Fleury and Francis, so yeah, that's big. Goaltending, we don't really have a lot of good goaltending in the plus minus. Well, Barasso's a 3-1-3 goals against. He's 18th. The one thing that pisses me off is Mike Liut's only played 11 games and he has a better goals against. Standings wise, we've played 32 games. Not a whole lot. Well, Edmonton's the only team that played less than 30. The Rangers have already played 35, so it's the Flash. The Flash. We have scored 122 goals, but we've given up 113. 9-5-3 at home, 6-8-1 on the road. Usually we're decent at home and all that. Points percentage, Buffalo over Montreal would be for second place. LA should be able to win the Connie Smythe. Vancouver over Winnipeg for fourth place. That'd be big. Highlights wise, 28 hat tricks. Yeah, Recchi had a hat trick against the Rangers, but they still lost. Johnny McLean had a hat trick, and they still lost 4-3. Memorable games. Number one is Washington Islanders from December the 1st. 13 goal fest. The Islanders were actually up 4-1 and choked it. Lorenz losing to Harnifak. With Pavanka really Cicerelli scoring the goals. Buffalo Calgary November 17th. It was 11 goal fest. Edmonton Hartford 6-5 on December the 1st. That's a good one. Renford being Sidorkiewicz. Hey, Sean. Montreal Hartford 32 points. Well versus Sidorkiewicz on Halloween night. Hartford was up 4-1, gave up 4 straight goals. And Minnesota Quebec November 3rd when Quebec was up 3-0 and fucked it up. We play in Buffalo to start this video. December 14th. We are having Frank Pietrangelo in the net against Stern Poopa. Poopa, doopa, bibbidi, boop. You know, from the Chocolate Factory. Was it Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory? No, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was the first one, and then it was Willy Wonka. I don't remember. Anyway, Clinton Larchuk, a couple years after that gruesome sight of Steve Tuttle's skate hitting him in the neck. Darcy Wekulak and David Whitman, your goalies. Our goalies, Tom Barrasso, number 1, Frank Pietrangelo, number 2, Wendell Young, number 3. Kitchener! That's right, Wendell Young, former Kitchener Ranger goalie. The first goalie in modern history to win the I guess it was the CECHL Championship, the IHL Championship, the AHL Championship, an NHL Championship, and a Major Junior Championship. Mark Recchi, great winger, soon to be a Flyer next year. Kevin Stevens, doing his job. Johnny Cullen, who would soon go to Hartford, big guy. He once had cancer, unfortunately. This is Jaromir Jagr. This is his rookie campaign. He's going strong in the Czech League. Paul Coffey, Kitchener. That's right, he's a Kitchener Ranger. Bob Erie, Phil Bourque, Mario Lemieux, number 66 in your programs. Joey Mullen, Randy Gilham, the pride of West Germany. Sarli Selesky says it. Says it. Brian Trottier, surprisingly leaving the others for the Penguins. Troy Loney, Yuri Herdina, I think we traded him later. Tony Tonti, I think we traded him later on. Robbie Brown, we traded later on. A lot of players we traded. Barry Pedersen, we traded later on. And he's the guy that Vancouver mortgaged a young Cam Neely on for Boston. Larry Murphy, a great defenseman. I think this is a trade when we got Larry Murphy from the North Stars. Paul Stanton, Gordy Roberts. It should be to the North Stars, I think, right? I don't know. Peter Tangolani. Well, anyway, no Francis or Samuelson. That's the big guys we got from Pittsburgh, Hartford. Buffalo has Davey Anachek, big sniper. Pierre Turgeon, last year in Buffalo before going to the Cupcakes. Daniel Havlicek, first year after leaving Winnipeg. I can't remember. Who did they trade? Oh, they traded Bodger, I think? No. Buffalo traded some Darren Shannon, I think. I don't remember. Alex McGilley, now in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Good for him. Oh, good for you. Rick 5, former 50 goal scorer for the Leafs. Benoit Hogue, who was soon going to the others in that massive trade. Christian Ruutu, too many fouls. Mikko Makala. Uli Krupp, another German. Dave Snickerlin. Mike Hartman. Grant Ledger. Rob Ray, the Goon. Darren Shannon. Mike Ramsey. Mirko Neustein. Doug Budger. Dean Kennedy. Mike Foligno. Leaping Foligno. Donnie Odette. Ken Sutton. Kevin Haller. Lou Fraschetti. I know that. Here we go. 4 minutes. Shutskiers. Yamada Yager. Musa Yager, yeah. Take it by the hand. I got the Musa Yager. I got the Musa Yager. Yager. It's 11 from Kevin Stevens. 2 minutes later. Sudden? No. 5 minutes later. 3 minutes later. Aggression? Yes. Henderson to the box. Buffalo? Another football secure. Shitty. Eben Stevens, his 6 from Recky and Roberts. 2-0. That was the end of action for 20 minutes. 3 minutes later, a fight between Rob Brown and Rob Ray. Well, you know Rob Brown was in over his head. No fight. No fight. Really? We skinner. You keep it like a ratty ball. All he wanted was to score some goals. From Coffee makes it 3-0 Penguins. 5 minutes later. Score. Even Stevens does it again. From Recky makes it 4-0. Buffalo on the ropes. Buffalo saying, fuck it, we'll play another night. David Littman is coming to net. We're wasting time. We score. Anderchuk. Three minutes later. They score. Mike Ramsey from the point from Rangers in 5. Much later. No, they almost did it again. They get the penalty. It's Hartman. Chance to ice it. Ricky gets hit. Ricky scores! Jordan from Ryan Snitterline makes it 4-3. Oh my god. They only had a 4-goal lead blown one time. 2. That was close. Thank goodness for that 4-0 lead. David Littman almost had a win, or at least a point under his belt. 4-3. Boy, we were so close to fucking that up. But we didn't. Yager, Stevens, Recky, and Stevens are the heroes. Stevens has 2 goals and assists. Phew. Well, W is a W. We head to the bench. Montreal, Winnipeg on Hockey Night in Canada. Montreal wins. Toronto on Hockey Night in Canada ties St. Louis. Quebec loses. We are in the Igloo against Detroit Fuck City. And good old Kitchener boy Wendell Young in the net against Tim Cheveldae. Driver Cheveldae. They had 6 goalies that year. Glenn Hanlon, Scott King, Dave Gagnon, the guy who gave up Hall's 50th goal in 50 games, Alan Chevrier, and Alan Bestard form relief. The 91 Red Wings, this was the first season of their 25-year streak of making the playoffs, which was not the most in NHL history, but it brought Detroit back from being the dead things. Stevie Yzerman for the Red Wings. Sergei Fedorov, great player from Russia. This was his rookie campaign. Jimmy Carson, the malcontent who cried his way out of Los Angeles and Edmonton. Sean Burr, Dave Barr, not the golfer. Johan Garpenloff from the Iron Curtain. Bob Probert, the Goon. Brett Fedek, Paul Yzerberg. Gerard Gallant, boo. Ranger fans hate that name. Mark Hapshot. Oh yeah, Gerald Gallant was the guy who gave Sullivan that 200-stitch cut from chin to cheek to cheek. Mark Hapshot, I think he died in 2011, didn't he not? I don't think so. Yusuf Racine, Sean Shabbat, Joey Koser, who was a Goon before he went to the Rangers, Rick Sumble, Steve Chason before he stupidly died in 1999, Keith Primo, Bobby Dolis, Rick Green, former Habs Burger, Brady McKay, before he went to the Devils, Brad McCrimmon. Yeah, he died in 2011. And Paris Jouves. What a name. 4 minutes into the game. We're red dice. 5 minutes. Detroit Skiers, Stevie Y, his 22. Yes, sir, day. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir, day. From receiving bar. 3 minutes later. Skiers! Lake Erie, his 12 from Rookie. 5 minutes later. Enforcer? It's a fight. I thought so. Koser fights Kevin Stevens. But that hurts us because Kevin Stevens is a good player. Detroit doesn't need to worry. Okay. And a chance. Damn it, Yzerman says. How did we fuck that up? Nojetzky yours. Fedorov doesn't. His 16 from Yzerberg and Glant makes it 2-1. 5 minutes later. No. Much later. Yours! Even Stevens from Trot. 2-2. 2-2 after 2. Two minutes later. Yours! Like Fury, Chicago selection. 4 minutes later. Nope. They scored! Jimmy Carson from Fedorov and Yzerman. Hopefully he doesn't become a malcontent. 1 minute later. He scored! Paul Coffey. Well, the only coffee I drink are ice caps. Catch it! It's 10 from Stevens and Recchi. 3 minutes later. No. 1 minute later. Yours! He came in like a racquet ball. All he wanted was to score some goals. His 19 from Stevens and Selapsky. 2 minutes later. Enforcer? Detroit's in trouble. Johan! The Kaiser! From Coffee and Tanty. 6-3, Detroit could not believe it, but 4 goals in the third period does it. So we put the goals in the third period. Our opponents did that last time, but we won. But this time we like, screw that. We're going to score it. Coffee the hero. Kitchener. So we win again. Washington Rangers. Washington beat the Rangers on the Monday night game. We are in tough against the Winnipeg Jets. And Wendell Young back in the net. Barrasso must have something, but Wendell Young will be in the net. Wendell Young against Bob Essensa, the main goalie for Winnipeg, with Rip Taparachi and Stefan Beauregard, the backups. Remember the name Beauregard because that's the guy who was involved in a massive trade between the Buffalo Sabres and the Chicago Blackhawks. Anyway, Pat Erlinik, Eddie Oshchuk, this cup is coming back to Winnipeg. Well, that's what he said. Phil Housley, yeah, the Sabres traded him to the Jets for Dale Hawerchuk. I remember now. He was a pretty good defenseman. Thomas Steen, number 25 forever. Paul McDermott, Dave McElwain, Denton Cole, Freddie Olesen, Brent Ashton. So many trades. Phil Sykes, Randy Carlisle, 2-time Norris Trophy winner with the Penguins. Momantha. Greg Puslowski, Tapel Newmanen, Mark Osborne, Dougie Evans, Mark Kumpel, Scott O'Neill, Gord Donnelly, Sergei Kurian, Sean Cronin, Mike Eagles, and Bugsy Erickson. Let's see. 3 minutes into the game, nothing. We're red, remember. We have a chance, Erky. Aye. Much later. Steelers! Lake Erie, his 14 from Brown. 2 minutes later. Winnipeg takes the penalty. Evans. 3 minutes. Ferdina from Poland and Mullen. From Mullen. What the hell? William Nothing Penguins. Regina before he went to Calgary. Still the fill. Ninth from Gallagher and Peterson. Well, Winnipeg's in deep trouble. We're up 3-0 after 20. Didn't speak too soon. 3 minutes later. Question? It's Lalapsky. Of course it would be. They score. Freddie Ollison from Helsley and Steen makes it 3-1. 2 minutes later. Good! Ethan Stevens from Pullman and Coffee makes it 4-1. 9 minutes later. Eagles. Did we take advantage? Damn it, I thought Stevens did. Not so fast, Jeffrey. 4 minutes later. Stamina. Stevens, the second of the period from Lalapsky, 5-1. Colonel Beauregard is going to come in the net. Of course. Woo. 2 minutes later. The delivery hit. No big deal. 5 minutes later, we go to the box with Stanton. Chance? Stop. Hey, Ocho. We're just trying to kill the clock. Winnipeg scores. Helsley from the point from Elianek, 5-2. And Ochak scores from Ashton and Carlisle, makes it 5-3. Boy, oh boy, we're in trouble. No way. Oh, Helsley. Retty puts it in the net. Hit 20th from Koch, 6-3. Nice job. 3-for-3 on the TV side of things. So, yeah. When we're hot, we're hot. When we're not, we're definitely not. But anyway, we win 6-3. Are we playing one more day? No. So the 20th, I think we are playing Minnesota in a eventual Stanley Cup rematch. Stanley Cup prelude. We're third in the division. Rangers Washington look good. We have a 40. Philly at 38. New Jersey and the Islanders look bad. Montreal, Buffalo, Boston are fighting out in the Adams. Hartford 4th. Quebec 5th. Calgary, LA, and Edmonton look good in the Smythe. Winnipeg, Vancouver fighting. Chicago looking good in the North. St. Louis and Minnesota okay. Detroit and Toronto are fighting it out. Recky's the 10th player to get to 20 goals. And yeah, Barrasso, but Barrasso hasn't played that much. Peter Angelo played that one game. He's got 3-4-5. Belfour, Beaupre, and Rudy are your stars and all that. Yeah, Hexel 7-7-2. 2-7-3. He has a better goals against average than Mike Vernon, who's won 15 games and a 3-4-4 goals against. Essens has won only 5 games, but has a 5-9-6. He has a shutout. Well, you can't win them all. You can win sometimes. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond.